Instead of engaging respectfully and maturely to find solutions, the ANC Minister of Health, Aaron Motsoaledi, declared war on the GNU in front of the world at Davos this week.
The latest. Thank you for love and support. I appreciate you all. To my old and new and returning subscribers, I say thank you for always stopping by at my channel. There is fire in South Africa. According to the DA party, South Africa decided that they do not want one party to rule them because they've seen that Cyril Ramaphosa and ANC that have ruled them for 30 years wasn't doing the right thing. There was corruption, unemployment, everything in South Africa wasn't moving forward. So the people decided for a change. But Cyril Ramaphosa has decided to make everything look as if he clearly had the majority and everything that he needed to be the president of South Africa because he's not acknowledging them. According to what is coming in from the DA party, DA pushes for an urgent reset and partnership. According to the DA party, they want to have a reset in the partnership agreement that they had with Cyril Ramaphosa. We know that recently South Africa went to have their elections, and at the end of the day, the clear majority and everything that the ANC that have ruled South Africa for decades needed to get for them to be able to continue ruling the nation never happened.
Thank you very much to all of you who've come out today on this Saturday to come and listen to what we have to say about this very important issue. Ladies and gentlemen, 7 months ago, South Africans were imbued with a sense of great hope and optimism when the African National Congress and the Democratic Alliance came to an agreement and signed a statement of intent to herald a new era of government in South Africa, a government based on coalition, a government based on power sharing. The statement of intent was the document and the basis upon which we gave our support to President Cyril Ramaphosa and voted him into office as the President of the Republic of South Africa on the 14th of June 2024. It was also the basis upon which we entered government in order to keep out the destructive policies of the MK party and the economic freedom fighters, and to contribute to building a better South Africa, a better future, and a better life for all South Africans. This came about after the voters and the people of the Republic of South Africa voiced their dismay with the ANC over their chronic service delivery failures, over the corruption, and over the missteps in government. In doing so, the voters of South Africa deprived the ANC of a majority for the first time in 30 years. Through their votes, the people of South Africa indicated that they wanted parties to work together to build a better South Africa. And I think this point is one which is absolutely worth emphasizing, that this is not a project of politicians. It is an expression of the will of the people of South Africa, who clearly said that they wanted parties to work together in a mutually respectful way to build South Africa and to ensure their interests were advanced. I'm proud to say that the DA continues to uphold our side of the bargain of that statement of intent. Portfolios that are under the control of DA ministers have done more to deliver progress in those ministries in the last 7 months than we've seen the ANC achieve in the last 30 years. Every single day, DA ministers, DA deputy ministers, presiding officers in Parliament, House chairpersons in the NCOP, and committee chairs get out of bed more determined than ever before to build a more inclusive, prosperous, and free South Africa. That is why we are in government, and that is what we are delivering. And this is precisely because we have heard the cry of the people for constructive cooperation that the DA treats our fellow coalition partners and colleagues from other parties in a 10-party GNU with respect, making constructive suggestions aimed at resolving disagreements rather than inflaming them. As a result of all of this, the green shoots have started appearing in our economy and in the employment statistics. The rand has strengthened, and international analysts have hailed the formation of the GNU as South Africa's most significant moment since 1994. The recent World Economic Forum in Davos, from which I've returned from this morning, reflected the positive attitude of the world towards this magnificent political development. Every day since June 14 last year, the Democratic Alliance has made a concerted effort to ensure the success of the GNU. We have negotiated, we've compromised where needed, because as veterans of coalition politics, we know that no matter how large you are in a coalition, you don't always get your own way. You don't have 50% of the vote, which means that you cannot get everything that you want. At the same time, however, in various press conferences, we have made it abundantly clear that we were in government, in this GNU, to share power, not merely to make up the numbers, for the ANC to continue rolling out the same destructive policies and proposals that have landed South Africa in the situation that it has found itself over the last 2 decades. Now, any coalition agreement is premised on the acknowledgement that the larger party will, of course, have to be prepared to negotiate and compromise where needed, because all parties in the government of national unity represent the interests of a minority. However, after a very promising start whereby President Ramaphosa delayed the implementation of the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act to enable negotiations to continue, recent weeks have made it increasingly clear that the ANC has lost interest in honouring its side of our relationship and statement of intent. Unfortunately, the ANC has taken to openly disrespecting coalition partners and undermining the very trust upon which a coalition agreement is built. In his statement at the January 8th anniversary, President Ramaphosa was quoted as saying that although the ANC failed to secure 50% plus 1 in the elections, the ANC is still in charge. Just today, the President opened the ANC's Lekgotla by saying that the GNU exists to implement the NDR, the National Democratic Revolution. Now, not only is a statement like this incorrect, it is immature, but it also does not accord to the letter and spirit of the statement of intent. Unfortunately, however, it does accord with behavior of recent weeks. In the last week, the President not only disregarded the very serious constitutional objections raised by the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Minister Dean McPherson, over the expropriation bill, but he failed to even have the courtesy to inform the Minister about when he intended to sign the bill into force. Similarly, a few weeks ago, I personally wrote to the President about the contentious National Health Insurance Act, which, despite the fact that it was raised very clearly in the negotiations going into the agreement, despite the fact that there was agreement by all parties that there would be continued negotiations about it, we're met with TV screens at airports rolling out that the NHI is here. That does not accord to the spirit and intent of negotiation, compromise, and cooperation. In the correspondence that I addressed to the President, I made a number of constructive proposals for consideration because, as a Democratic Alliance, we want universal access to basic health care for all South Africans, regardless of their income. However, the NHI in its current form, which seeks to destroy private medical aids and tax credits and to launch an assault on the private medical sector, is not the way to go. If anything, Operation Vulindlela has shown us over the last few years, it is indeed a public-private partnership and cooperation that leads to greater successes in government. I made a number of these constructive proposals, which set out very clearly our position on the matter, and I asked for a meeting with the President to further engage ahead of the upcoming Cabinet Lekgotla to prevent a repeat of the events from the previous Lekgotla, where we vehemently objected to the inclusion of the NHI targets in the documentation. Amazingly, the President refused to even meet with the leader of the largest party in the coalition to discuss the single most critical issue for the future of the GNU and for the future of South Africa. Instead, my letter was simply waved away and sent into the abyss of the Health Department. And that leads me to the next point, because the same place my letter was sent to has been met with a really odd response. Instead of engaging respectfully and maturely to find solutions, the ANC Minister of Health, Aaron Motsoaledi, declared war on the GNU in front of the world at Davos this week. Motsoaledi told world leaders assembled at the World Economic Forum that he is fighting what he called a war against the people of South Africa who don't want their private medical aids expropriated and who don't want higher taxes to fund a new looting scheme and who don't want to see our healthcare system in South Africa destroyed. This is not how mature colleagues behave, that is not how you negotiate, and that is not how you compromise. It is arrogant and it is deeply disrespectful, not only to the Democratic Alliance, but to the other parties, to the Government of National Unity, who have also expressed their concerns about the NHI and who are also patiently waiting for a negotiation around this particular matter. It is a symptom of a continued lack of respect accorded to coalition partners as well as to the founding agreement. And most importantly, from international experience and local experience, this is not how healthy coalitions work. Whether the ANC likes it or not, the stability of this government, as well as the security of the President's own position, depends entirely on the relationship between the two largest parties to the Government of National Unity. In keeping with our mature approach to coalition government, the Democratic Alliance is therefore urgently seeking to pursue a reset in this relationship.
There was this historical thing that happened during the last South Africa elections. So, Cyril Ramaphosa needed to partner with another party to be able to get a clear majority and everything that the ANC party needed to keep on ruling the South Africans. So he decided that he was going to go for the DA party led by John Steehism to be his partner. And they went for this agreement. When this thing happened, a lot of Africans were not happy. We didn't wanted him to have this agreement with this man because we know that a day like this is going to come. These people are people that are pushing for them to have their own country within South Africa. They have their own ideologies. They are the same people that are doing everything possible in South Africa, doing everything possible to keep the native South Africans from not having everything that they needed. We know that there are some places in South Africa that the blacks can never be there. According to even reports, Cyril Ramaphosa, there's one particular place in South Africa that Cyril Ramaphosa himself being the president can never go. And there are some schools in South Africa the blacks can never attend. There are some jobs that are meant for blacks, and those that are special are meant for the whites. There are a lot of things happening in South Africa. The South Africans are still not free. They are still living in the apartheid regime. But these people, when you want to talk, they say you should mind your business and leave South Africa issues for them. South Africans always try to tag their fellow black people as their enemies, forgetting that the real enemy of the black South Africans isn't the black Africans that visit South Africa. There's people that are into power, giving you policies and things that are affecting you, are the people that you should be fighting. But they have made them to believe that their brothers who are blacks are the problem of South Africa. The blacks that come to South Africa do not make laws. They are not the people that are stopping you to be able to go to places and the kind of jobs you should have. And there are some places that you yourself, who is a native, cannot even live. So, we are not your problem. But this is the narrative that was given to you. Majority of the South Africans said they didn't vote for Julius Malema because he said he was going to make South Africa a visa-free to any other African country. So other African countries can come into South Africa without any issue. And the South Africans are saying they don't want it because when we come, we are the ones taking their jobs, forgetting that even the jobs that they are talking about, they don't even have it in the first place. You are living in your own country, on your own land, yet you can't even buy a land. Even the houses that you are living, you are renting them. And these people can sack you just like they sack foreigners every blessed day or at any time. So what shows that these people are not your problem, but rather the brothers who are around you, forgetting that we, the people that you don't want to see, when these same people were forcing and worrying you, it's your brothers who team up and set South Africa free. So South Africa isn't for only you. As long as South Africa is in the continent of Africa, we will always talk about South Africa, because whatsoever that affects South Africa affects Africa. And when this apartheid thing that started like a dream escalates, it's other Africans that will come to your aid. These people are fighting for their own country, and you are giving them the mandate, the opportunity, bringing them closer to things that will guarantee them to have whatsoever that they want to have in South Africa. So, our brothers and sisters, we are one people. As long as you are in the same skin with every other person, you and that person are the same. It's these same people who gave us the narrative that we are not one, so that they will be able to divide us and conquer us and have their way through. Because when we are united, they will never succeed in whatsoever agenda that they have in their heads. So, we are one people, regardless of where you are, whether in Africa or in the diaspora. Our strength lies in our unity. United we stand, divided we fall. So let's keep sharing and educating our brothers and sisters, so that we have a better Africa for our next generations to inherit. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa and in South Africa.